Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's me Hamza, and in today's video I am gonna be reviewing my 1975 Mercedes SL. Now I did make a part 1 of this. I did review this car 2 years ago and I gave you guys my initial thoughts on what ownership was like, because at that point I had owned this car for about 2 years. I now own it for 4 years. I've put a bunch of miles on it since then. I've done a little bit of maintenance as well since those initial 2 years. So now I've owned the car for about 4 years. So I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on what it is like to own this vehicle. Now I have loved owning this vehicle, and contrary to what people may think, it is actually really reliable. I have had zero issues with the vehicle, and I have just serviced it, I believe, twice since the last review. So we've done an annual service on it since the last review. Let me quickly show you guys the car from outside, and then we're gonna start with the drive. So like I said guys, I've now owned the car for about 4 years. I really enjoy driving this car. I've put a ton of miles on it since we drove it last. The car currently has about 80,500 miles. Now I haven't taken any long, really long road trips or anything on it, but I have driven it quite a bit in the neighborhood where I live. So if I have things that are like, for example, going boxing, or just going to my office, which is really close, which is where we're going to continue filming the rest of the review, I'll just take this car, drive it there. Never had any issues with it, and really just done minor servicing, which is oil change, whatever, spark plugs. I did change a fuel filter on it as well because that was required for the mileage that I put on the car. But other than that, it's been a super pleasant ownership experience, and such has been the case honestly with all my cars. You guys know that every car I buy I do review on the channel, and every car I own currently, and I'm saying that because there is a surprise coming into my garage very soon, currently everything I own is Mercedes only. We are driving just regular highway speeds, and as you can see we're at 40 miles. Now the reason the RPM is actually so high, it just dropped, because it does shift above a certain speed. Anyway, so driving experience has been solid. The steering actually has no wiggle in it, which is surprising for a car this old, but it's something that I enjoy and I get to drive, so I'm not really complaining. It does make me feel a little more comfortable and a little more safe. Now driving way back, you guys know that I love this way back position. I love it on my AMG GTS, I've loved it on my AMG SLS, and now on my AMG, or on my Mercedes rather, SL450, I love this sitting back position and being in the rear of the vehicle as opposed to being in the front, or being more front of the car, because this is just an experience that I like, and I love driving it this way. Now you guys know that I'm not shy putting miles on classic cars or collector vehicles. I put a ton of miles on my SLS since I bought it. I put a ton of miles on this one as well. I really enjoy driving it, but there are some quirks that we do need to address in the vehicle, and that's something I'm going to talk about first. Now, before I talk about the quirks, I will tell you guys that the soft top is brand new. It was replaced a couple of years ago before I made that review, so it's probably replaced about 4 years ago, right before I bought the vehicle. So it has been garage kept since then, which is why the soft top, you guys will notice, is in such good condition. Okay, now let's get into the car so I can show you guys what the interior looks like. And this is what an interior in 1975 really looked like. You got your chrome steel covers over there, which are still on. You got this handle that opens. I'm assuming the seat comes forward. I don't know why, because there's no seat in the back. Now that is something that is a little bit of a quirk, because there is really no seat in the back. It is kind of empty, so it's probably just storage, and I'm assuming you can put like your golf clubs or whatever over there, or maybe this was a backseat delete by the previous owner. I don't know, or maybe these cars came this way. I'm not a specialist, so I don't really know, but I mean, it is fairly clean, and I use it just to store stuff if I ever go shopping, really. Now here is the super clean interior of my Mercedes 1975 SL450. What you'll notice is I have the original head unit for this vehicle. A lot of cars, a lot of drivers, a lot of enthusiasts will change this and get a newer one so that they can play music that they like. I, however, using technology, have worked my way around that. And what I actually did is I ended up buying this little speaker, and it's a wireless Bluetooth speaker that I connect to my phone, and I can enjoy music. So this is the first, well, second quirk, because we don't have real back seats. That would be the first quirk. The second quirk is if you want to keep this 100% original, which I think a lot of you may want to because this is a collector's vehicle, you're going to need to get some type of wireless speaker as well that you can connect your phone to so that you can listen to the navigation while the navigation speaks to you, or you can listen to music if you want. And this is kind of the one that I use. I think I bought this for like 10 bucks or something from Target. I could probably get a pill, like a Bose pill or something really nice, and put it somewhere where it looks really good. But you know, I just bought this because I don't drive this car long distances. I drive it all around the city of Houston, but I don't drive it, like I've never driven it to Austin or Dallas, or I've never taken a road trip in it. So once again, guys, this is what the car looks like from inside. You have your power window commands right there. This is your blinker light. And then this here is just an empty space that you can use, I guess, to store things and whatnot. But if you stored anything over here, it would kind of bounce around while you drive. So I don't recommend doing that if you own one of these vehicles. We're actually going to go in the back of the vehicle, and I'm going to show you guys what the trunk looks like. Now, the trunk on this is massive. It's much bigger than the trunk on the SLS. And of course, I have my old windshield wipers over there. I have a toolkit from Mercedes. I have older floor mats that I don't use. This is the actual battery that came with the vehicle. Of course, I've replaced it, but what I mean is there's a cover for it now. And the cover is actually very important because when I bought this car, it didn't have this cover on it. So it has the cover as of right now. It also in the trunk has this motor for this antenna. So every time I turn on the radio, this antenna will go up and then go down when I turn off the radio. Now, one thing you guys will notice is that we do have the American bumpers on this SL. So really massive bumpers both in the front and in the rear. So I was in the rear, but we have them in the front as well, as this were a requirement at that time when this car was first launched here. Now, another fun fact that I found out is when the SL initially launched in the US, it was initially illegal to drive it because it was too much motor for the car at the time, and they really had to rework the vehicle in order to get it street legal to US requirements. So that's a fun fact that I didn't know. Somebody told it to me. I probably should fact check it, but you know, that's what was said. So I'm assuming it's true, right? And it makes sense because even today, this car is super fast and it drives like a champ. Like I can accelerate this SL to 80 miles, no problem whatsoever. The other thing I like about my SL, which is one of the reasons I bought it, that is different from a lot of SLs that you will see out there, are these wheels. Color matched to the vehicle. So you see that little silver in the middle of the wheel over there? That is actually color matched to the entire car, and it is absolutely phenomenal. I don't like the steel wheels that have all the holes, but they're not color matched to the vehicle. Okay, let's get in from the driver's side so I can show you guys what the fun part of the car looks like. Of course, this is what it looks like from here. Fairly clean. Everything is in good condition. You have that steel piece once again with the lever for the seat to move forward in case you wanted to throw something in the back. And this is where all the fun happens. All the gauges on this car are currently functional, which is an amazing thing. And it starts up like a champ, and I'm going to show you that right now. So I just put the key inside, okay? We turn it, it makes this little sound, and like I said, guys, all the gauges on this vehicle are currently functional, which is really cool. Look at the RPM. The RPM works. As you can see, the oil pressure gauge moves. Water temp is just where it's supposed to be. Fuel gauge moves perfectly. We also have the mileage on the car right now. So 80,505, which is a lot of miles for this vehicle. Okay, let's close the door and take it for a drive. Now, driving this car around the city, and I live in the city of Sugar Land, is an absolute joy. There's no problems. Everything functions the way it should. The car has enough power to maneuver its way in and out of even sticky situations if need be. I've driven this to the city, which is the city of Houston, many times over on the highway. And you know, keeping up with highway speeds, which are roughly around 70, I mean, limit is like 65 miles, but driving 75 is really not a problem for a 1975 SL450. It can easily get up to 75 miles. It can easily brake from 75 miles, which is amazing. And you know, it really doesn't have too much issues keeping up. It's also a big time head turner. So you drive this anywhere today, and people are gonna come to you, say hello, take pictures of the car, which is cool. I mean, you know, it's not a crazy expensive vehicle, but it's treated like royalty wherever it goes, which is something I really like about the SL450. And this is what the driving position looks like. So I'm back here driving, enjoying life, and you know, it's pretty nice, it's pretty easy, it's a chill drive, it's an easy car to drive. And one of the good things about this SL450 is that both AC and heat work in the vehicle. So in the summers I can turn up the AC, no problem. In the winters, or when it's a little chilly outside, the heat kicks in and it works perfectly. It does a great job at heating the car. Now once again, this car doesn't have too many issues accelerating. Like if I step on the gas, I mean, it's fast, you know, it's a fast car. It can make some moves, and it's pretty cool. Another thing I will mention is that once this car does get up to highway speeds, the roof is a little noisy. So at about 75 to 85 miles, you are gonna hear the soft top. You are gonna hear elements from the outside. Not only are you gonna hear them, but you're actually also going to be able to smell them as well. So if there's a diesel truck in front of you, guess what? You're going to be smelling a little bit like diesel. So if this is a car that you plan on taking and driving to like meetings where you don't want to smell specifically like diesel, or any other things that you may be driving past, maybe this is not the right vehicle to take to meetings. You know what I mean? I take it to meetings, I don't really care. But you know, if you had an important meeting, and it's important that you're presentable. I mean, I go to business in a hoodie now, but if you're one of those people who, you know, are more formal, more official, hey, what's up, guys? Yeah. We got some followers. Anyways, so, you know, if you're not an official, or if you are an official person rather, then you would definitely want maybe another vehicle, or you would want to get the SL maybe in a hardtop, so that you can maybe not have all the, you know, all types of atmosphere entering the vehicle. Because the soft top is great, I mean, it'll keep the water out, but for air and that type of stuff, you definitely need to keep things intact. Now I'm gonna get to the reliability component. As far as reliability, the car has been absolutely reliable. I've not had any issues with the vehicle, and I don't think I will for a very long time. I mean, if I manage to maintain it every so often, once a year, which is what I do, I get it checked. And honestly, everything really just checks out every time I take it in for service. In fact, my service advisor is truly amazed at how clean this vehicle is. Now, I did buy this car from someone who took really, really good care of it, and was actually kept all the service records from the late 80s. Can you imagine that? I have all the service records for this car from the late 80s. So if you are looking to buy something like this, make sure you find something with service records. I mean, it's not a must, but I mean, it's nice to have. They're not too expensive at the moment. I do think these cars are going to appreciate like crazy in a short spurt. So like they're going to go from 20 to 50,000 fairly quickly, and then they're going to appreciate a little slower after that. But I do think that these cars are going to appreciate fairly quickly, very, very soon. Okay, we're going to give it the beans and see what it does. There you go, we just gave it the beans, and as you can see, we're accelerating fairly quickly. Okay, we're going to brake just because we have cars in front of us, and we want to be mindful of that as well. But like you saw, guys, acceleration for the SL450, definitely not an issue at all. I mean, you can get up to speeds in no time in this car. So while we're here at the light, I also wanted to give you guys cost. Cost of ownership for me has been extremely inexpensive. Since I've owned the vehicle, 4 years now, I've spent $2,000 servicing it, maintaining it, and doing a little bit of like fixing things. And I actually had an alternator go bad and a battery go bad, and that is inclusive in that $2,000. Those parts are easy to come by, easy enough to come by. I bought them from like a very reputable store, so I'm sure there was a premium there. I'm sure you can get these refurbished for much cheaper, bringing down maintenance costs if you really know, or if you have somebody or a shop that you work with who is familiar with these vehicles. Now, another thing I would tell you is that if you plan on buying an SL450, especially a 70s vintage SL450, you need to definitely be aware of any shops that work on these cars. And the reason for that is, you know, shops that work on modern vehicles, and mainly modern vehicles, usually fix problems by diagnosing things in a computer. So they'll probably plug something into your OBD2, it'll spit out a code, they'll be able to fix it. These cars, it's a little more artsy than that. You need a person who knows what they're doing, who's been around these types of vehicles, because some of them have known issues. Now, mine didn't have any issues, but some of them have known issues that can be easily fixed by someone who knows what they're doing, who has experience in working on these vehicles. And so that, I think, is very important over actually somebody who can plug in a computer and diagnose a problem just by, you know, for the sake of diagnosing a problem, you know, because modern cars have all these sensors. These older cars, really, you need to listen to the vehicle and understand what it's telling you in order to be able to fix it. Once again, giving it the beans, and like you can see, getting to 80 miles is really just such an ease, very easily achievable, not a problem at all. And it's nice and toasty inside too, so that helps. Now, I really quickly wanted to show you guys these latches. So there's one here, and then there's one right here, and it's extremely easy. All you need to do is twist this, twist that latch, and you are able to completely remove this soft top, and it'll retract into the base, which is right there. Oh, there's the SLS from the last review. So it'll completely retract into the base, which is right behind me, and it's completely mechanical. And I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, mechanical, what are you talking about? Believe it or not, it is more important, in my opinion, to have these things be mechanical so that they last a lifetime. Mercedes went through an era where they did everything with hydraulics, including the roofs, and people are converting all of those hydraulics into mechanical, because I don't think that the hydraulic systems were efficient, and I don't think that's the way to go when making roofs and also when making suspension. So Mercedes did go through an era where they started implementing hydraulic technology in the suspension, and those are the most problematic Mercedeses of that era for that specific problem, for suspension and for roof. So this one, lucky for me, is completely mechanical, very easy to fix, very easy to repair. Once again, guys, the SL450 in all of its glory. Let's do a final walk around. This is my 4-year review with this SL450. Hopefully, if I have the vehicle for longer, I'm gonna do more reviews for it. But I do have a surprise that I will be announcing, because I am making a few additions to my garage, and I am going to be reviewing more vehicles. If you guys like, I will do a review on the GLE 43. I'll also do a review on my matte black G-Wagon. I can do a review on the newer G-Wagon as well if you guys want. If you guys put it in the comments below, I'll do reviews on whichever Mercedes you want next. Just like that, my name is Hamza. I'll see you guys next video.